Alright, and hello everybody, I'm the Sweeper27, and welcome to another Dokkan Battle video. So today, if you didn't know, for Global, the TOP androids are going to be the next units that drop on Global Dokkan, so let's go ahead and quickly look at what they do. So this is Sparkborn Struggle for Survival, a really cool name, Android 18 and 17. They lead a new category, which is Tournament Participants or Sibling Bond, 3 key and 170 to stats, and then their additional 30% is for U7 or Joined Forces. So real quick before we look at them, let's quickly delve into what Tournament Participants is. So this is any unit that is fought in any tournament. It's not just World Tournament. So obviously you have every World Tournament character is on this team. Universal Survival Saga, Universe 6, the Cell games are included in this. I believe the Other World Tournament is as well. Yep, so you have like PyCon units. You have a lot of varied characters, so you can theoretically do like a bunch of different unique lineups. The problem for this team though is that this is not a very good leader, and let's go ahead and see why. So they have a unit super attack as well as a normal super attack. So real quick, their normal super attack is they greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn and immense damage to the enemy. On its own, that's a pretty decent super attack effect, but they are super reliant on this, their unit super. So massively raise attack and defense for 1 turn, that is a 100% raise if you did not know. They do immense damage to the enemy and gives all allies 35% attack and defense for 2 turns. That is a ridiculous amount of support. That's would be easy to do if it weren't for this. Can be activated when there's an ally whose name includes Goku in the same attacking turn, which you may not be thinking is a big deal, but let's look at Sibling Bond. There are no Gokus on this category whatsoever. That's because Goku, while he does have a sibling, it's Raditz, and they didn't get along to say the least. So that means you have to use like Tournament Participants. Well, let's go ahead and look at all the Gokus. This guy, if you're using him, it's just for his 70% chance to dodge. This guy did recently just get an EZA on JP, which we will be getting like late June, early July. So, and it's a very powerful EZA as well. I believe Hit and God Goku would work for this because the name does include Goku, so you could theoretically run them even though this is a pretty power-prepped character. And then the other main one is 23rd World Tournament Goku, who is obviously very, very good. Again, we'll come into another problem in just a moment. I guess you could run these guys as well if, like, you really wanted to. But yeah, that's it. So, having to run a Goku on the same turn may not seem like a big deal, but you'll see why it's a little bit of a problem as we get a little bit further into their kit. And there's my cat. Hello, Simone. Everyone in chat, say hi to Simone. But for their passive, they have an entrance animation, which will randomly change key spheres, int excluded to rainbow key spheres for 4 turns from the start of turn, when there's another Repa Universe 7 category ally attacking in the same turn. So, not only do you have to run Tournament Participants, you pretty much have to run U7 on this, meaning that 23rd World Tournament Goku may not always fit super well on the team. He isn't even on the 200%, he is just on the 170 because obviously he's not on Joined Forces. And Rep 7, as it is right now, is a pretty dead category. Now again, JP, they're likely MUI and Evolution Blue are going to get their EZAs this year. That is something that is, or not even this year, just within this next month or two, they're likely to EZA. As well as like the physical blue boys are likely, to get an EZA this year as well. So, they may get a massive revitalization in like 5, 6, 7 months, but as it stands right now, not looking very good. And we're only 1 sentence into their passive, which isn't very good. They get 170 and 180% defense at the start of turn. That's actually really good, and it's really good that they have slightly higher defense than offense. I do prefer that a lot. They get an additional 50% attack and defense and reduce damage received by 35% when super attacking. Now, right now we are in an AoE meta. I haven't looked at the new difficult events that are on the JP version of the game, so I don't know if there is any like dodge nullifying. I don't know if, well, actually I do know there's dodge nullifying because I watched part of Minato's live stream he did the other day when the events first went live, and like STR Beerus seems that he does have a dodge nullification for 3 turns. But I don't know if there's AoEs. I don't really know anything. So right now, since we are in an AoE meta, these guys are kind of dead on arrival because they don't do very well against like Fusion Zamasu. And then once you get like deep into a fight against like Omega, they don't really have any defensive mechanics, unlike Android 21, who may do very poorly against Fusion Zamasu's AoEs. Once you're able to actually transform with her into her Majin form, she can eat Omega's AoEs every day for breakfast. So again, right now, they don't have a very good position in the meta, but that can change. Again, once we get a new difficult event, they may be able to cook and like easily be put into slot 1. They have an additional 50% attack and chance to perform a crit with 7 or more key spheres obtained. That is a 50% chance to crit there. Tournament participant allies get 2 key and 35% attack and defense. And this character gets an extra 1 key, 17% attack, and 18% defense with 7 or more key spheres obtained. That is a lot of support. So this is going to be a very orb-hungry character. But they do give good support when they do get all of those orbs. So again, right here, when they get their 7 orbs, they are getting 50% attack, 50% chance to crit, as well as they're giving themselves an extra 1 key, 17% attack, and 18% defense. That's really good. So these guys can look good if you are able to get them their orbs, which may or may not be easy because they do Rainbow Orb Change, but again, you can't put them into slot 1, so it's not guaranteed. You kind of have to play around with it just a little bit. They get an additional 59% attack while performing a super attack, and they get a Scouter when there's a Goku on the same attacking turn. So again, you really need to run a Goku with this guy. When outside of like the UI Gokus, you have 23rd World Tournament Goku who won't activate their passive intro. So a lot of moving parts that don't really work well together. Again, a few months, UI Sign, you are very easily able to proc this, and UI Sign is a character you would want to keep on main rotation. But as it stands right now, they don't really have a good way to activate most of these things. I know some people may be like, well, what about Blue Kaioken Goku? Blue Kaioken Goku, he just gets cooked in this meta because he needs time to build up. And these events at the start are way too difficult for him. So that's very unfortunate. He may get a revitalization once like all the UIs and SSBEs get their ECAs. I have no idea. For their active skill, it's such a wacky active skill. So they changed Tech Key Spheres to Int Key Spheres, which is good, but it can be activated when HP is 78% or less starting from the 5th turn from start of battle. And then it can be activated 8 times. So if you get to turn 5, from what I understand, is you could theoretically launch this active skill every single turn for 16 turns, assuming you have each one of these guys on main rotation, which is a bit ridiculous, but all you are getting out of it is just orb changing. They're not getting any stats or anything, mostly because the stats they get is from the passive by collecting them, but again, you can't really put them into slot 1. So I guess you could put your slot 1 unit, collect your orbs, launch this, more likely than not be able to get all 7 orbs that you need to succeed. So yeah, it's a very wacky active skill, and again, it's from turn 5, so I don't know how you are expected to use it so many times when you can only use it from starting from turn 5. Like, even Omega, which is the longest event in the game, you're not going to be able to use this more than like 2-3 times, especially since this is an Int character, so they get around his damage reduction. It's very wacky, very wacky. It has one of the best OSTs in the game, though. You're actually going to be listening to it right now. I'm going to change the BGM for this video in particular. Now their links. This is another reason you don't really want to run them with a Goku. They have Android Assault, which is 2 key and 20% defense. Twin Terror, which is 2 key. Whoops. Attack and defense and chance to evade plus 5%. Infinite Energy, which is 2 key and 5% attack and defense and chance to crit. Shocking Speed, which is 2 key and 5% defense. Tournament of Power, which is 3 key and 7 to stats. The Innocence, which is 15% attack. And then Fierce Battle, which is 20% attack. I am pretty sure that they would only share these 3 links with UI Goku, which is 2 key, 5% defense, 3 key and 7% to stats, and then 20% attack. These are the links you want to be activating with this character, which you can actually do with physical MVP 17, but if you're keeping him on main rotation with MVP 17, you are less likely to get this to proc, meaning you're less likely, or it's impossible to get this to proc. It's not great. It's not great. They have too many restrictions, which is something that I don't like. Like, Dokkan, I understand. Like, if they had a character that was just broken and outright destroyed every single aspect of the game, there wouldn't be a reason to summon unless they make difficult more and more artificially, like, BS or what have you. But this is a character, like, when is the next time we're going to get an androids unit from the Tournament of Power? Did they really need a Universe 6 restriction on top of a Goku restriction that has 2 separate proc? You know what I mean? It wasn't necessary. And then their link set, like, disincentivizes you from running a Goku on the main rotate. It's a shame. This character, if it didn't have restrictions, like they just had entrance animation at the start of turn, like they could have this with a Goku. That would be fine. You know what I mean? But this should have just been like their actual super attack effect, like baseline. Just those couple of changes to this character would be a billion times better. And then they're really not on too many categories. They're on Universal Survival Saga, Androids, Repsa U7, Joined Forces, Sibling Bond, Worthy Rivals, Superheroes, and Tournament Participants. Although, again, the problem is they're kind of stuck on their own team, mainly because of this, which it's not great. They're on some teams that could, like, theoretically use help. Worthy Rivals comes to mind. Androids is much more relevant now because of 21, the physical androids, and so on and so forth. Repsa Universe 7 is pretty dead. Sibling Bond, they actually is a big buff to them. I will give them that. And they do give characters like Gohan and Goten a 200% that you could theoretically run them on, but Sibling Bond is just kind of like a dead category as well. So overall, what I recommend summoning for them, well, let's look at it. Not really, because looking at their banner, the banner is kind of good, but like also not. If you really want this character, my best advice is just to wait. They're going to be featured on some other banner sometime soon. I wouldn't waste your stones now, trying to get ahead of the game, because they don't cook in any difficult content. They may cook in a few months' time, but then if that's the case, you'll get them on a banner sometime between now and then. They have a side banner unit, Zarloin, Zabanra, and Zabuto, I think is how you pronounce their name. They don't really do anything. They're a Power Wishes buff, I guess. Kale, I'm much higher on Kale than a lot of people, but you need a U6 with her, and a lot of U6 isn't in a good position. Once we get like the STR Kaba and Hit, that may be a completely different story, but again, as it stands right now, it's not super worth it. God Goku is obviously a god. I am much higher on this character than I think a lot of people are. Again, it may be recency bias, but I think this guy can cook. They're good against like Omega, believe it or not. I did run them at 55% Link Level 1 in a recent video, and they actually did quite fine because of how long I had to get them to stack. And then Videl is dead at the moment. Videl with an EZA will be good. Like these two, once they get an EZA, will be very good, but she's probably a year plus away. They're probably a year plus away, and then none of these guys are going to be EZAing anytime soon. So don't recommend summoning on this, even if there is like ridiculously good deals. I would not recommend it. I myself will not be summoning for them. And then in terms of like new summonable characters that we will be getting, obviously we have these guys right here. This is 2 free-to-play units that will be getting EZAs and Z Awakenings, I believe. These are from GT, which is a little bit weird. If they were planning to do this, I don't know why they didn't do it for the Super 17 celebration. It's a bit odd. I'm actually pretty sure this one is decent, right? 5 turns for first appearance, 100% defense, and 18% damage reduction. Oh, wait, never mind. As the first attacker, she gets 36% damage reduction. Yeah, that's not good on a free-to-play. And then I imagine you're probably crits, because that's what they always love giving you. Oh, no, you had 50% chance to dodge. Okay. So yeah, for like these free-to-plays will probably be decent. These 2 free-to-plays are getting Awakenings. Oh wait, are you the one who's... Yeah, okay, this is the one who has Guard and stuff in slot 1. And then these are SSRs that will be getting UR Awakenings. That way you can just theoretically run them on the same team. Very likely no. And then you also have LR, or not LR, EZA Jiren, who is one of the worst EZAs ever. I'm not even going to really go into it. And then to pretty much wrap up the celebration, you have the 3 U6 sub EZAs. From what I understand, mid, decent, and then like ridiculously bad. Like he has a chance to get 100% attack or something. What is it? Yeah, this right here. Yeah, none of this is good. Champot's not good. They weren't cooking on Champot. And then lastly, to wrap up the celebration, there is going to be a Yellow Coin LR. Ribrian, Kakunsa, and Rosie, who they do a lot of stuff. Like, this is a super interesting character. They, like, triple orb change if there is a tournament participant, 2 or more tournament participants on the team. The problem with them, though, is that they want all these orbs, but they only have 22% damage reduction, meaning that they cannot go into slot 1. They also build up a lot of crit, which I think is a little bit useless. I normally like to go through events way slower than I do going through them quickly. She does, however, have a giant form, and I do love me a good giant form, which lasts for 2 turns. If you've seen the Truth clip, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, underpowered, yes. Do I think they're interesting? Yes. This should have been like a character who was on par with Bulma, because when are we going to get another Ribrianne, Cocoon Set, and Rosé? Probably never. Ribrianne can maybe get a Dokkan Fest later on down the road, and I don't think people would complain. Actually, yeah, I do. She was super annoying. She does kind of deserve one, though, just because the massive amount of the big role she held in the Tournament of Power. But that doesn't have to come necessarily anytime soon. She has a Power of Wishes buff as well, I guess, so she could be a floater on that team, but then you're missing out on all the orbs you're getting, so I don't really know where you're running her. I guess you could run her on their team, because she is on the 200% there, but again, she's just not really good enough. But yeah, that's what us global players have looked forward to. It's actually a lot of content. There's also these guys. These will be the story mode, or the Dragon Ball stories. The SSR will now be getting a TUR state. So this will become an LR at some point. It's not an LR yet on JP, so we have no idea what it's going to be. And this Krillin apparently is actually pretty decent. So we're going to get several free-to-play EZAs, some sub-EZAs, a main EZA right here who is pretty terrible. So there is going to be a lot of content. It's just the content is going to be a little bit underpowered and not really help anybody in main content. So yeah, overall, what would I say? Don't summon. Again, these guys will show up on another banner. I don't think they've returned on JP yet because they showed up in July. So once the 9th anniversary ends, they should be the next Dokkan Fest to show up on a banner. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's how that works out. So yeah, whatever comes after anniversary should be there, or depending on whatever Amatsu does with the global sync, only time will tell. But that will be all for this time, guys. I have been the Sweeper27. I'm a variety Twitch streamer and an up-and-coming YouTuber trying to make it big in the world. I have a Twitter, a Twitch, and a TikTok, the links of which can be found in the description of this video below. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and share me around. We've been having a lot of growth and support recently, so again, I really do sincerely appreciate all you guys for doing all of that. But yeah, so that will be all for this time, guys. So as always, I have been the Sweeper27, and I am signing off.